Hello and welcome to this audio article by ESCP Business School, produced in partnership with the Commercial Department of the Financial Times. Over the last year, many businesses experienced the dramatic shift from office work to a home office. But will working from home become business as usual? I'm Matthew Sansom, and joining me today are Fred Place, CEO of Platform.sh, a technology platform company that's based in San Francisco, in name alone, and Professor Benjamin Voyer, Professor of Behavioural Science at ESCP. Ben, I'm going to start with you. If you look back at 2020 as a whole, was working from home a success?
I would say it's been a success primarily for two reasons. The first one is what I would call inertia. We had been working before all together as organizations. The other reason why it worked is that everyone else was doing it and we had no choice. And so altogether, these made it work in the short term. However, I'm quite concerned as to whether this is the way forward, at least in a fully fledged way for the years to come.
Fred, you were well ahead of the remote working curve at Platform.sh, but did the way you work change in any way whatsoever in 2020, or was it just BAU?
Yeah, hi Matthew, and thanks for having me on the show. You said it. We started the business as a remote company 5 years ago, and so COVID didn't make any change for us in the sense that we already had the playbook on how to work from home. However, in my mind, working from home doesn't mean that you don't see each other. And the main change for us is we had to work from home, but we couldn't meet physically at any point in time, while we were used to spending a full week, almost every quarter, all together to discuss the topics in details and to have this wonderful human experience of being in the same room for hours and taking the time to actually go in depth in the topics. And so this raised a ton of issues and made the work from home actually not the same experience as the one we knew before.
Ben, clearly working remotely has been successful for companies such as Fred's. But interestingly, it seems that many businesses were actually quite surprised to see an uptick in productivity. Do you not think that many businesses will look at the upside and make a decision to go fully remote from now on?
We know from research on organizational productivity, efficiency at work, that whenever you introduce a new method, a new way of working, a new way of assessing people, something different, people tend to be more productive. There is a short-term boost in terms of productivity. However, as things become the new normal and when and if people work from home a lot, we do find, or academic research suggests, that productivity starts decreasing. The issue at the moment is that because everyone is doing it and there's no real choice, it's a very different game if it is not compulsory anymore, and if this is something done in the long term. We will see productivity decreasing, and we will see working from home as a new dilemma for companies. Is it something that provides us with a competitive advantage? Is it something that helps us to retain employees? So the question will shift from how it's working and whether it's working to how to make it work.
Fred, let me pick up on what Ben just said there. You're a remote company, but you're in the IT industry, a sector well suited to working from home. Do you think working from home is suitable for all industries?
Not everybody is equal in front of work from home, and not all populations are actually suitable for work from home either. And if we look at the reasons why we started to actually work from home 5 years ago at Platform.sh, the reason is pretty simple. We started actually with small offices in 3 locations, namely Paris, San Francisco, and London, and we had people in those three geographies, which are major tech hubs, right? When you're actually thinking about talent recruitments, we couldn't get the engineers that we needed to actually build the product. We had from day one strong traction and found a product market fit very quickly for our business. So we decided to actually go remote so we could actually find engineers that were not in those hubs, that would actually work in other geographies. And our recruitment problem was gone the minute we decided to actually start recruiting in different geographies. And interestingly enough, now this has become a very big asset for the company. We can actually find talents anywhere. Geography is no longer a criteria, and we can scale.
Okay, let me flip that back on Ben. Ben, isn't there an irony here that you've got Platform.sh, a company that became remote due to an inability to recruit the kinds of people it needed on the spot, and the irony being that for many businesses today, high on the list of reasons that sees them wishing to pivot back towards an office-based scenario is recruitment.
I think for me it really comes back on whether this can be a competitive advantage or not. If you are in a location like London, Paris, or San Francisco, where the pool of workers is constrained by the housing market, and you can't get enough workers to work for you, and you're constantly being outpriced by competitors, then offering working from home works very well. For me, it's more of a question of what happens in the long term. And in the long term, whenever you need to grow the company and integrate lots of new recruits, what you find is that some insignificant moments in the office can actually play a big role in making people feel like they belong to the company. There is a risk if you work from home entirely within a big hierarchical company of what I would call some sort of a screen ceiling, is that you'll be limited, your career progression will be limited by your computer screen, and you won't necessarily be able to access the head office and the top jobs in the company. This opens the door to changes in employees' loyalty. It opens the door to companies outsourcing jobs so that a lot of the jobs are done all around the world. And I think for the knowledge economy, for white-collar jobs, it's something that's very much new.
Ben, how adaptable are humans? Don't you think that we might just become more comfortable and better at working from home over the course of time?
We're adaptable. Humans are adaptable to a certain extent. What will happen as things push working from home as something that is normal is commonly maybe negotiated by people in their employment contract, a right to work from home a number of times a week or a month or else. As this gets more accepted and more mainstream, what we will see are codes, norms that start developing. Certain companies may use certain types of software to monitor what you're doing. So you will find ways to make working from home feel like a routine. And there still are multiple advantages to working in the office. We've talked about them, career building, the fact that serendipity and informal creativity is virtually impossible. Zoom and everything we have is very good at recreating things that are structured with a beginning and an end, but they're not good at reproducing the chance encounters, the serendipity. You can build a lot of those informal things in a Zoom call, but they feel forced, when in real life they actually are not forced, because this is the social nature of individuals.
I will respectfully disagree with Ben on one thing, which is I'm not sure how, without the technology that is available today, we could actually efficiently manage a work from home company. Emails to manage a company are very crappy already. Before the email, it's very interesting to me how that was even possible. But not even talking about the fact that now video calls are almost free, right? I mean, it's 5-10 years ago, we have people in 150 cities and 30 countries. Just the phone bill would have been just a non-starter for us.
Chaps, I'm sorry to interrupt. We're tight for time. Your predictions for the future of working from home, if you please.
If I'm an organization and I'm trying to decide what balance I should give to working from home, the question I need to ask myself are what type of employees would be better suited, what types of jobs would be better suited, and am I in the right industry for that? Some industries will benefit from working from home, but if I think about my average company that has headquarters and maybe regional offices that has outsourced part of their production if we're talking about good businesses in part of the world. This is more of a difficult question. I think it becomes a question of a competitive advantage and literally, am I more likely to retain my staff if I give them 1 day working from home per week? Or not? Where do I put the balance? But to conclude on the question, it's a matter of skill set. It shifted.
My feeling about this is hybrid is going to be the future rule. Hybrid with, as Ben said, a mix of going to the office from time to time and working from home when you need, or a number of days during the week, probably is going to be the mainstream approach to the topic in the future. And I think companies like us that are fully working from home are going to grow. There's going to be more and more of us, and I think the international aspect is at the core of the reasoning of why that is. If you're building a global business, work from home is terrific, and you save so much time on every step of the way.
I do think that working from home is also an evolution. I would say 2/3 of the companies will go for hybrid, and the last third will be divided between companies that purely work from home, like Fred's, and companies that actually do not do working from home. So there will be, for me, perhaps 10-15% of the companies that never work from home for some staff at least, or because of their industries. 10-15% that may go fully on board, and then the rest of the companies that, and that's the vast majority, 2/3, I'd say in my crystal ball, that would adopt a hybrid model.
We'll have to leave it there. Thank you to Fred Place of Platform.sh and Professor Benjamin Voyer, Professor of Behavioural Science at ESCP. You'll find more thought-provoking articles by ESCP on ft.com, and you'll find a director's cut of my conversation with Fred and Ben and much more at thechoice.org. Thanks for listening.